Cigar Club. In this edition of Between Two Barns, I'm talking to Drew Estate main man, brother of the leaf, old friend, JD, Jonathan Drew. Thanks for taking a couple minutes talking to us, brother.
Oh man, my pleasure.
We're about midway through the Kentucky Barnsmoker, an experience. If you have been, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Unlike anything else in the industry, an education. It's like to the point where you got to take notes. You learn so much because you're never going to get it the first pass. Which is probably why we see some of the same folks year after year after year. And hell, some of them follow you around the country with these things, like Grateful Dead fans.
Yeah, they really enjoy it.
I know Kentucky's special for you. As far as all the Barnsmoker, was the first one. But you mentioned in your opening statement, you know, that it's more than that. There's just something about how far it's come and where it's at now that just. It's hard to put into words.
Yeah, you know, you're right. It was what you said earlier about there's so much information at Barnsmoker. It's a very deep educational side to this program. I mean, it's a great day. You get your money in cigars, this is and that's, whatever. But Drew Estate, we're good at marketing and bringing products to life and that side of it. But we're also, and where our strength is as a factory, where our strength is as a company, is at the factory set. Really being able to produce cigars and have the knowledge to speak on it and be able to talk about, you know, slight differences that make a world of difference at the end in production and on farming and on curing and on all these different stages of processing, both in pre-industry as well as in the final stages, what we call a salon at the factory. So people who travel around, some of them are traveling around with the company because of that, you know, whether it's Grateful Dead or Fish or that feeling that you get of traveling with the band. There's that part of it that people really love and we love too, because all those guys become, you know, we got a lot of pieces there, whether it's Cigars for Warriors, you guys, the different groups who work with us. So they travel around and they learn a lot at each different facility because we do Kentucky, we do Florida, we do Connecticut, Pennsylvania, and Louisiana. And each of these have a very different purpose. Like Louisiana, we're in St. James Parish. Why that's important and relevant to you is because if you've heard of Perique tobacco, that's typically a pipe-style tobacco, but that Perique is a Perique seed tobacco that's grown in Perique that then gets processed using the Perique manner. What we're doing with the fire-cured here is we're taking that fire-cured seed instead of a Perique seed, growing it here, the Kentucky seed, growing it here, fire-curing it, and then shipping it to the Perique process. So it's two different processes where we're taking 53-gallon barrels and we're shoving 500 pounds of tobacco in there with a car jack to jack, or a railroad jack, jacking that tobacco, 500 pounds in there. After, you know, good year, it starts to emulsify, it starts to turn into a paste, and it becomes very sticky, almost like a honeydew that's on there, honey. And that tobacco gets shipped to Nicaragua. That's been through a lot. That's a long journey, a long process. So as these people travel with us, one piece here in Kentucky, you're seeing the fire curing and you're learning, you're sitting with Robert Gray, the farmer. Then when you go to Louisiana and you're seeing these barrels that they turn 3 times with 500 pounds of pressure in there, you get the parts of the story come together. And then you crisscrossing that on top of really learning about who are real people at the factory, whether it's Pedro speaking about the factory or Henry or Willie or myself or Fabian, the people who are talking about bringing those two things together to life, they get a lot out of that.
You know, when you think of Drew Estate, you think of a lot of the personality side of it. You've got these great crew of people on sales and marketing, representing you across the country in all aspects of the country. And what I've learned over the last 2 years of us being blessed to do this with y'all, each farm has its own personality. Each farm kind of has, it almost has the personality of its owner. I mean, you know, and it's just, you know, Mark, if you still got time, I don't know if you sold out yet or not, but you go to Louisiana and Mark shows you around what he does. And like JD said, you go into those barrels and you see that coming out and you see how passionate.
That shit is bubbling. You ever see it bubbling?
It's one of the dudes pried one of the jacks off and let a little bit seep out for us last year.
Yeah.
That was fucking awesome. But yeah, but I mean, the owner's personality seeps through the farm itself, and each one is just completely. You think, all right, I've been to one tobacco farm. I know. No, you got 5 different farms, 5 totally different little ecosystems.
And that whole package together allows us to basically demonstrate the world of American tobaccos, right? Because here people say like, oh, where are you from? I'm from America. You're from North America, first of all. Secondly, you're from the United States. And North America has tobacco that's incredibly important when you're thinking of US, Mexico, and Canada. When we're thinking about South America, as we start to move over into Central America, Nicaragua, Honduras, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, these, and Panama, I guess. Panama's not really part of the Five Sisters, but either way, those tobaccos in Central, there's going to be distinct characteristics that are similar but also different from each other. Then finally, as you head out to the Caribbean side of Cuba and to the Dominican Republic and other Caribbean space, there's other characteristics, and these things happen because of their proximity to humidity, because of the soil, because of how the soil's been kept throughout the years, government programs, these ruin shit, whatever, and all of those factors. In Ecuador and South America, you've got a low cloud base. The clouds are very low. When you grow Connecticut shade tobacco in Connecticut, you got to use cheesecloth to block the sun. When you grow it in Ecuador, the clouds hang low, so that tobacco gets the shade without putting it up. All of that's going to make everything taste differently. So I think at this point, I've always tried to surround myself with good people who really can understand tobacco and can speak to each other, and we can really ideate on what is the areas that we want to push forward. Sometimes we fail, and we grow stuff, we get stuff going for us, and we cure it, and it doesn't come out good, it tastes like shit. And those times we have to learn something through those investments. So the people who you surround yourself with in whatever business you're in, whether it's creating content and or making cigars, that those people really contribute a lot. So when they go to this farm with Robert Gray, the Gray farms don't just grow tobacco. They grow they are one of the biggest corn growers out here. And they grow a lot of different agricultural products, and they're able to strategize what they've learned from different agricultural products and how to make the tobacco taste better, richer, fuller, whatever I want, or whatever our production team wants, not just me. So, yeah, it's a good process. When we're able to, you see those barns over there afterwards, you walk through with those barns back there, the one right there, homie, with the tobacco hanging. You see why that's different than this barn?
Burned down?
No. Because that barn right there is open. You see that openness? You see how this barn right here behind me and him? You see that's closed. There ain't no open nothing. You got to open the doors to let in the humidity. What do you see over there?
A lot of open.
It's all open, and they never shut the doors because there are no doors. So what does that mean? That's an air-cured tobacco. It's going to cure by air. This is a fire-cured barn. That's the difference. Fire curing, air curing, flue curing, oriental curing. The basic curing processes talk about seed development, seed variety, then to country of origin, where to grow the seed, then to process the seed. Boom, air curing, fire curing. Process different tobaccos, but most people don't do that. Everybody uses air cured.
It's one of the most unique things I've ever witnessed, farm to farm to farm. Let me ask you, number one question, Willie always brings this up in his seminar, no matter where he goes, number one question, what's new? What's new? What's new? But I think you got maybe an interesting take on the what's new question.
Oh, the what's new question. Oh yeah, what's new? So
everybody's what's new. It's not that simple.
No. There's the what's new guys who smoke what's new. They want to try everything, and they'll keep trying stuff. Some people go that journey. Other people stick with more traditional stuff like a Padron or a Fuente or an Opus or a Liga or whatever you're into. Pepines stuff. Everybody. There's certain baseline tobaccos and baseline companies, and they've really got their skill set down, and they're looking for consistency. That's where their radar's at. Then there's other companies that are younger, typically. We were once that company. And those companies are not looking for their main side, as much as they might want consistency, but they're also looking to explore. And they're looking to be the new Fuente or the new Drew or they want to be able to show the world their skill sets. So it's very important to the evolution of cigars. Those dudes who make the Oscar, the one that comes with their leaf wrapped around it, I think that's very cool because it really is a nice innovation, and it brings a lot of spirit to the cigar industry. I think it's a very, very powerful brand.
When you come up with a new concept, does it have to fit into an existing line? Can it be, in your mind, is it all pieces of a puzzle that'll never get finished? Or, can someone come in with something completely whack, idea out of the box, and you're like, well, shit, now we got a whole new...
I'll tell you this. You ready, brother? It's a great question. Here's what I'll tell you. When you really think about the new stuff that Drew Estate comes out with, it's a new Liga Privada. It's a new underground. We call those an expression. Some people call them a line extension, right? But in underground, for instance, you got the Connecticut, the white, you got the sun-grown, the red, you got the Maduro, the blue. When we think about coming out with new products, typically our products fall in Liga or underground or acid or natural or whatever it's going to be. We haven't come out with a new brand, an actual brand. I'm not talking about a new thing, a new line extension. Oh, we're going to do a Maduro leaf this year. All right. Since Florida sun-grown, and that was already 4 or 5 years ago, and then before that was Kentucky Fire Cured or something, we're talking... We don't come out with a lot of new brands. Think about that. We come out with line extensions, try this or that on the underground or whatever. And Herrera, we've really built that out now. The Miami blend is really nice. We're doing that with the mother-in-law, Sandy. And we're really crossing boundaries on Willie Herrera. That product is really starting to become big for us. It was always meant to be a boutique brand, but a lot of people who had smoked Drew Estate early on moved on to some boutique brands, this and that, and then still dabble because they're to what's new and they like a lot of Willie's stuff because it's we continue to explore heavily there. But I'll tell you this: new brands for Drew Estate are coming. This is something that are being brought to market over the next 2 years that we've been working on for 3 years, 4 years, a year and a half. And these things, when you really think about whether it was moving to coffee-infused cigars or whether it was Kentucky Fire Cured or doing what we do with the Pappy Barrel Fermented and Pappy brand and doing what we do with all this stuff, Kentucky, this stuff that we're coming out with is going to be really shocking for people and really powerful releases for us. But it's going to be still, we're a while away. So we're working really hard on that. We got Willie, the production team, conceptually driven, a lot of it. I'm involved on the conception side, the ideation space. It really is definitely leading the team on the final ultimate taste of where we got to get to. So
that's huge news.
Yeah,
I'm glad the tractor wouldn't drive by when you dropped that one.
Yeah, well,
is this the first you're talking about? Is this an exclusive, a TNCC exclusive?
Yeah, TNC. There's TNC Bud.
Take that, Coop.
Yeah, that's a TNC exclusive right there. Ain't getting into too many details, but I'll tell you what, we're very proud to announce it with Tuesday Night Cigar Club. You guys play a vital part of the ecosystem of cigars, premium cigars. Our multimedia partners out there, you guys really live it, and I love that because I think Drew Estate's all about culture more than we are about the plan. And you guys have done a nice job. Your readership out there, from Drew Estate. This is JD signing out.
I got one more question.
Got it.
Well, I got you.
No, you got it. Dude.
Cuba Arte Water Towers. Best presentation of the year by far. It brings two of your passions together, art and leaf. If you haven't seen them, I'm sure most of y'all have. If you haven't seen them, check them out. There's 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah, Cuba Arte.
They're beautiful. I've never seen cigars presented in such a creative way. My question,
thank you, dude.
As an art lover, I think that's one of the biggest passions in your life. Art.
Yeah, it's the biggest here.
When you see a piece, I gotta have it. That tingling in your I gotta have it. Does that transfer? And I know that feeling, and it's hard to describe that feeling when it comes to art.
Yeah.
Because the other 50 fuckers in the room, they don't know what the hell's going on with you at that moment.
Or you gotta look around, because sometimes do, and then you look over and you see some guy eyeing the same shit.
And you're fuck.
Walk red tag it.
But from the Drew Estate side, because of y'all's marketing, your labeling, your packaging.
Yeah.
Do you ever get that same, like when you first saw the first Undercrown band, when you saw that lion head in that presentation with the backwards Undercrown?
Yeah.
Do you ever get that same, like, holy shit, like this is almost too good to put on a cigar. This
It's interesting. No, because I don't get that very rarely. The only time that ever happened to me was with Liga 10, the 10th anniversary, because I didn't take as much of a role in that one, and I saw the finished project. I didn't.
When you're there from the beginning.
So what happens is, right? The name Undercrown I came up with. A kid had said it to a young adult had said it to me who was out on a cigar safari trip. Hey, we were talking about names because we had Liga Privada for 4 years. We hadn't come out with a new brand. Nobody does that shit. 4 years, Liga Privada, no new brand. And I needed to come out with a project that was going to be the follow-up to Liga, but it was going to be like the son of Liga. It was like, not the cheap man's Liga because it was tasting different, but it was going to be the son of Liga. But we were just starting to develop an idea. And we had told the rollers on the production floor to stop smoking up all the Liga Privada. Because we're happy when they smoke cigars. Hey, smoke whatever you want because they're testing it for you. Too tight, too this or that, problem. You could have a bowing out foot. You can have white veins at the top. Your leaf couldn't be put on evenly. You could have a candy cane going through the cigar. A lot of these things are rotos, which means not just a second, but rotos fall into different categories. So you want your cigar rollers to smoke and enjoy them, and they're going to tell you where the problems are. And we said, you got to stop smoking those Liga Privadas. So make yourselves a blend using the same tobaccos as Liga. But if I'm using this plant from Nestor's farm, and it's a Ligero, don't use the Ligero on your blend that you guys smoke. Use the Haviso or Seco. If this plant is whatever, don't use the exact same plant, just different place. So that was a shocker because when we all smoked up those Undercrowns, that was the cigar produced on the factory floor. So you take a piece where the name was my idea, then you take a piece where the rollers created the blend earnestly, not with a bunch of bullshit. Yeah. Then you take where Steve packaged up the product beautifully with Joey. Joey did the artwork of that Undercrown feeling that really it's got that whole German, it's just, the packaging's tremendous. But when those parts came together, Nicholas was also on the blending side. He was a master blender at the time. All of those pieces that came together, that's where I think Drew Estate really stands strong, as our team spirit is very strong at Drew Estate with the team philosophies, and that's why I never get shocked. Only time I really got shocked was with that Acid 10, because that was really just Joey and Sam and the production guys, and obviously Willie on the blend. So that one caught me. H99 was more just along the lines of just the regular Liga box. Yeah. Some people say they like the H99 better. You like that? The H99 is the Corojo. Yeah. The Criollo leaf is on the Liga 10.
It's a beautiful cigar.
You like the 99 better?
Yeah.
It's heavier?
I just find it a little more complex.
More complex.
Like me.
Right, you are complex, but you're great, man. We love you.
Well, you know what? That makes sense, because when you're part of the process from the beginning, it's more like the artist puts his last touch to the painting and walks away. I'm done. It is. That's a really good way to put it.
Yeah, and you have to have trust in your guys. Like I said, we've been really blessed to have great people who are with the company now, and who also had been with the company in leadership positions, like speaking about Nick and Saka, who also helped develop and push the company further. Everybody has DNA in the company. Across the board, sometimes they're these unsung heroes. That's why the Undercrown brand is so powerful. Dude, that's a big fucking brand, Undercrown. I get up, go to